the next segment. It's actually a fun one, right? It's who, if in the past, right? If you look at past your favorite Bengals player, if you could add any past Bengals player to this team, who would you add? That is the question of the day. And Evan, I feel like you have a name on the tip of your tongue because you give me that weird look. So
I got two, man. I got
Sure, talk to
two.
me.
So I'm gonna go ahead and take up a little bit of time here with that. Obviously, the first one that I feel like is probably comes to mind for a lot of people is Geno Atkins,
I knew you were
and
gonna say that.
specifically, I want 2012 Geno, that year that only was eclipsed by JJ Watt having like 23 sacks, I think it was, or 26 or something crazy like that. Um, so Geno that year was first among defensive interior linemen in PFF grade, first in pass rush productivity, second with 82 total pressures behind only JJ Watt, second with 16 sacks behind JJ Watt, second in pass rush win rate with 13.3%, and even second in run defense grade, despite his stature and despite that maybe being the knock on his game. It was not a problem that year. So adding that to the interior of this line with what they already have and putting that next to DJ Reader, that would just be I mean, they'd be going gangbusters, man. Like they'd be 60 plus sacks for the Bengals easy this season. You know what I'm saying? And then looking at the other side of the ball, obviously not a lot of glaring weaknesses. People might opt for a guy like Willie Anderson. People might say, hey, bring back prime Andrew Whitworth and throw him on the right side at tackle. But I feel like the line is at a good enough place where the biggest upgrade that you could see is getting 2015 Tyler Eifert into this offense. The reason I say that is because I know he had problems with some drops, and I know maybe he wasn't quite the very physical inline tight end that people really wanted him to be or was used. And I know he was injured, but this year he played 14 games, had an 89.8 PFF receiving grade, which ranked fifth out of 50 tight ends, had 13 touchdowns, which ranked second among all tight ends, and 4 of them came in the short range, 6 of them in the intermediate, and 3 of them were deep 20-plus yards. So he was able to be effective not only in the red zone, but in all areas of the field. And Joe Burrow could complement his frame, his seam ball ability really, really well. And I think he would just fit like a glove. He had catches of 15-plus yards in 11 of the 14 games he played in that season, and 40 of his 57 catches went for a first down. Add that to this offense with Joe Burrow, and I mean, pick your poison. Like anyone can hurt you at any time. Just think about Tyler Eifert's vertical, his athleticism, his size, and just picture that and paste it over where Hayden Hurst was last year. And that just like that's what you're working with, and a deeper wide receiver room and a better offensive line and another year of Joe Burrow. And it's just I really think if you could add him, that would be my dream add on offense.
What about you, Lope?
So, I mean, kind of with the way the league's going, my mind kind of goes to two people, one on offense and defense, and just this fun, this fast, this explosiveness, this just big playability. You know, not that necessarily this is like, you know, the guy I would say to answer the question. But I can't even imagine how good John Ross's career would be right now if he was thrown into this Bengals team. Man.
Bengals fans everywhere cringing, screaming, throwing everything they can grab.
But seriously, though, man, like, I mean, he was such a fun player. He was such a fun prospect. I know he didn't work out, but let's not act like the guy wasn't.
He wasn't just like a straight line burner in college. Like it wasn't. They just like, he was
very
good in college.
Good. And you know, just kind of where the league's going, and having him in this wide receiver room right now with all that speed and just all that the fun he could bring to the offense, and you know, kind of continuing to talk about the fun and again and the explosiveness. You know, another non-traditional media member himself, Adam Pacman Jones. You know, that guy. Talk about fun. About
he's
being
non-traditional media.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Talk about being different and just doing all these fun things. Adding him not only to the quarterback room, that's one thing enough, but just in the return game, like that's one of the Bengals' biggest weaknesses over the last few years. Just again, that explosiveness, that fun, that grittiness, that toughness, that's just that explosive energy that they can bring to a team. They can change the game in one play. And I think having that wherever you can get it on your roster is a fantastic thing to do.
Oh man, you guys make me have to go back in the memory bank. Give me Corey Dillon.
I thought about Corey,
Give me Corey Dillon. Give me an electric runner. Give me a guy that can absolutely, you know, lead this offense, especially if times get going and, you know, times get tough in the passing game. You want a guy that can sort of alleviate the pressure off of a Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
All right. I think Corey Dillon will be a good add. And if I got to add one more player, I think I would go with Andy. I'm kidding. I would go with Reggie Nelson.
Reggie Nelson's fun. There's some good corners you can throw in here too.
Yeah, there's some corners I can definitely go there. But I like.
I know some of our viewers have been talking about Jonathan Joseph, Leon Hall, like prime peak Jonathan
Riley.
Joseph could have been really fun.
Oh, yeah.
I feel real confident in the secondary we got. That's where that came from.
For sure.
I love those guys. You know I love those guys.
100%,
Like
100%. Guys, do me a favor. If you guys can drop down in the comment section the one player that you guys would add to this Bengals team from the past, right? We threw out Geno Atkins. But I would love to hear what the audience has to say. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. What's the one Bengals player of the past that you guys would add to this team right now?